So if you're watching this video, it is highly likely that you are expecting a baby. So if you are, congratulations. And also it is most likely that you are either choosing to breastfeed or definitely wanting to, exploring that option. So you've definitely come to a really great place to do that. So this discussion is really just a little review about the womanly art of breastfeeding, just to give you an insight really of what to expect if you were to invest in it, in some reading, because it isn't the smallest of books. So I thought you might appreciate getting a bit more of an insight before you delve into it. So this book is beyond fantastic, and I cannot emphasize enough how rewarding it can be to read it before baby arrives, for a number of reasons. Firstly, because I think it really makes you aware of the biological behaviours of a newborn and what to expect, and as soon as those sort of expectations have been met, it allows you to really understand when they're arriving why they're behaving certain ways, so it's certainly reassuring for that reason. Secondly, it's a really great book because it covers practically every obstacle that you could face when breastfeeding and how to overcome those, or where to go for extra support in that circumstance. So it really can be your best friend, and again, having that insight before baby arrives, because when they do, things get very busy. It can be much more rewarding. There's no missed mark, so if you don't get to read it before baby arrives, it's never too late. I came across this book when my baby was 8 months old, and boy, what I would have done to found it, well, more than 8 months before that, because I just broke down in tears when I read it, because it just felt like somebody was holding my hand and just telling me everything that I needed to hear. All these instincts that I had, somebody had already written them down and confirmed them and reassured me on them, to say, actually, all this time I've been beating myself up because I feel like this, or I don't know what to do, and all the answers I needed were in here. So it really is like somebody's holding your hand. Considering how large it is a really friendly written book. It just makes you feel so comfortable and at ease, and it's just written in a way, like I say, that it's just somebody's just grabbed your hand and just spoken to you and just gone, right, we're going to do this together, in that sense. I remember one leader always said to me as well, it was like the mother-in-law you've always wanted, that just loved you, absolutely loved you for what you're doing, and that, you know, because it's the best thing for your baby, and having that sort of voice and reassurance is great. Which is also interesting, because I saw an article actually not long ago that sort of titled, do parenting books give women more depression? Whereas I would say that this is the complete anecdote to the opposite of that, and this for me just gave me all the reassurance, and it just felt like it lowered my expectations, not raised them, which can make things a bit more difficult when you're trying to parent, especially breastfeeding and all these different obstacles. It sort of goes, you know, forget everything that you think you knew. This is actually more like the reality of it, and that's okay, you know. So if you expect this, life will be a lot easier and a lot more comfortable for everybody involved most of the time. What's great about it as well is it's chapter by chapter, so you can really delve in and out. You don't have to read the book from back to back. It's great to get a full idea of it, because it's certainly helpful, because it's so practical in the way that it can help you begin breastfeeding. But you can just dip in and out of it all the time. So it literally tells you like your week slots, the first 2 weeks, month 1, month 2, etc. So you can really sort of just touch base with it just before that month begins, and you've already got an idea. And it's quite ironic, because you'll be doing something and it will kind of click and be like, oh yeah, I knew that was coming because they said this. And it's just like this, so relatable. It just kind of comes back at you in that way. What's also great is there's a big help toolkit at the back as well, which is really nice, because it's kind of all these things that you've learned in here can sometimes feel a bit overbearing if it's the first time you've heard this information. but this bit at the back just kind of shortens that and just gives you bits to go on, because one thing I've noticed is you can read all of this, and if you can before baby arrives, that's fantastic. But when they do arrive, it kind of becomes very real then, and you're like, oh no, have I forgotten everything that I've learned? And most likely you don't have the time potentially to delve all the way through the book again. So you've got your little chapters just to take it step by step of where you are and how old your baby is. But also you've got your toolkit at the back. So, you know, first few days postpartum, you can really delve into that and just be like, how many nappies am I looking at? How do I know she's feeding well? But in general, in a more depth, it